Kuwait and Bahrain say that they have again been targeted by Iranian drones and ballistic missiles. These images we're about to see show strikes being intercepted over Kuwait City. Bahrain says it shot down all missiles and drones and called on Iran to cease attacks. Iran's Revolutionary Guard said they were targeting a Kuwaiti airbase hosting US forces. The Iranian airstrikes came hours after the US carried out attacks on Iranian coastal radar positions. Great to be joined by Fawaz Gerges, a professor of Middle Eastern politics and international relations at the London School of Economics. As Iran says, Fawaz, it's retaliating against US bases, but Bahrain and Kuwait argue they are being directly targeted as sovereign nations and it's nothing to do with those bases. Is this Tehran trying to apply more indirect pressure on Washington, or is this war expanding into the Gulf states?
Well, from day one, on the 28th of February, when the United States and Israel attacked Iran, Iran decisively targeted its neighbors, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. It targeted American bases in the Gulf states. It targeted their oil fields, their energy infrastructure, because what Iran has tried to do, is to increase the costs not only to its Gulf neighbors, but also to the global economy. We need to keep in mind that you have more than 1/3 of energy resources in the Gulf, and the United States has about 50 or 60 or 70,000 American troops stationed throughout the Gulf. So the Gulf states are really in the thick of it. The war is not expanding. The war has fully expanded into the Gulf state from day one, not just the Gulf states. Iraq, Lebanon, and what have you. Really, it's an almost an all-out regional conflict.
Iran has attacked Bahrain and Kuwait twice this week while still engaging in indirect negotiations with Washington. Is this about leverage at this point at the negotiating table, or signalling perhaps that the diplomacy is going nowhere?
Well, I think what we have now is stalemate between the United States and Iran. We have major differences between the two sides, and neither the United States nor Iran has been able to bridge their differences. And I think the danger lies is that the longer Washington and Iran fails to reach an agreement, the higher the probability of further escalation. So far, both Iran and the United States are managing their escalation. But escalation could easily spiral out of control, even by miscalculation. So far, there is a bit of control and management on both sides. But we are seeing repeated clashes between the two sides, and tells me the current trajectory is not really basically tenable. That unless both sides find an agreement, I fear that we could easily see further and more strategic escalation between the two sides, and back to all-out hostilities in the Gulf and beyond.
Yeah, Gulf countries have spent years trying to reduce tensions with Iran while maintaining security ties with the United States. Do these attacks more or less make that balancing act impossible and genuinely risk pulling the Gulf monarchies deeper into the conflict, into a conflict you say is not expanding but has expanded?
Well, I think what Iran has done recently, and probably our viewers notice this, they're now focusing mainly on Kuwait and Bahrain, the weakest link in the chain in the Gulf Cooperation Council. So on the one hand, Iran is building bridges between itself and Saudi Arabia and Oman and Qatar. But Iran is trying to really drive a wedge within the Gulf Cooperation Council. So by attacking Kuwait and Bahrain and probably the United Arab Emirates, Iran is saying, look, I am not all against all the Gulf states. I'm just against the three states which have basically major American bases, really significant American bases. And the reality is the Gulf states find themselves between a rock and a hard place. Iraq that Iran has attacked them, significantly, and the losses in the Gulf, for our own viewers, we estimate that the losses to the Arab Gulf state probably more than 100 billion, if not 190 billion dollars, and the hard place that the United States really has not provided protection so far. So they find themselves, the Gulf states, in a bind. And that's why some of them are really trying to find ways and means to convince Iran to stop its attacks on their society and their economy.
Fawaz Geger, it's great to get your thoughts. Thanks so much.